Hey, good evening, everybody. It's 7:02. Could we all stand for pledge allegiance to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Dana, can we have a roll call?
Jacqueline Daniels. Here. Tyler Kennedy.
Here.
Jalen Daniels.
Present.
Frank Pergola.
Here.
Adam Preston.
Present.
Sean Rallis.
Here.
Rowan Brown.
Here.
Noah Darrow. Patricia De Silva. Here. Christopher Rogers.
Here.
Daniel Stahl.
Here.
Carl Williams.
Here.
Lisa Glazer. Here. And Ann Lynch. Present.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to accept the previous session's minutes?
I'll make a motion.
A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Previous minutes are accepted. Okay, we're going to open the public session now, so I would ask that if you come up to speak, approach the podium, state your name and your address. So the public session is open. Is there anyone in the public session that has a comment? Step right up.
Good evening. My name is Larry Bummels, and I live at 4 Renahan Drive. That's Ansonia, by the way. Just in case anybody had questions. But anyway, I want to just welcome the president and our aldermen and all the ladies, all right, tonight. And I just wanted to bring to your attention, I had put together a document related to the flagpole in front of our city hall here, all right? And putting up flags that are non-governmental approved type flags. All right, and so I did put something together here, and I believe all of the aldermanic people here must have received a copy of this. As Javier told me that he sent it out to all the aldermen and all the ladies, and I did speak, I believe, with Jacqueline, all right, and I was told that it probably would come up on tonight's business during your business meeting, and I don't see it on the agenda. I don't know what happened, unless it is going to be spoken of, I'm not sure. But basically, it's a request for the adoption of flag display standard for the city of Ansonia for the city flagpole itself. Not other flagpoles that we probably put up throughout the city, but just for the one that's in front of the city hall here, all right? And basically, just to give you an idea, I'm writing to respectively request that the city of Ansonia establish a formal standard for the use of our city flagpole, specifying that only the United States flag, the state of Connecticut flag, and the official city of Ansonia flag be displayed on this particular flagpole. All right, and that's basically what this is all about. So hopefully you did get it, and I would love to have you all read it. And if it's not on the agenda for tonight, which I didn't see it, but perhaps maybe it is going to be on your business, I'm not sure. All right, but if it's not, then I would definitely like to see it brought up for next month's meeting. All right, I want to thank all of you for all of your duties to this great city that we have. All right, you're all doing a great job, and we love you very much. Thank you again, and I don't know if you have any questions for me at all. Hopefully you received it.
Point of clarification through the chair, if possible. So I just wanted to help out, Larry. Thank you so much.
You sure did.
And say, so confusion might have been where ordinance committee hears that.
Ordinance,
So
yes.
to my fellow alders that may not have received it yet, that's where I'll say where
Oh,
ordinance
okay.
committee, it be the confusion between Board of Alders, which has a subcommittee called ordinance committee as well.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, so if we could have it done, I guess the next meeting, is that how you do it? I'm not sure. how-
Ordinance committee meets, on kind of on more of a, not set schedule, it's as need, thank you, as needed basis.
Okay,
Yes.
all right, thank you very much. Thank you for giving me this time with you.
Thanks, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else who would like to make a comment? Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Good evening. My name is Joe Salzillo. This is Bloody Trepka. Address, 33 Star Street, Ansonia. This is the right place. So thank you guys for giving us the opportunity to speak with you tonight. As I said, I'm Joseph Salzillo, and I'm one of the managing members of 33 Star LLC, located over at 33 Star Street in Ansonia. And I'm here tonight to respectfully ask the board to at least reconsider and remove or significantly reduce the blight lien that is currently associated with this property. First, I just want to make it clear that I understand and respect the city's responsibility to enforce blight regulations. Maintaining the appearance and safety of our neighborhoods is important, and I appreciate the work that goes into protecting this community. That said, I do believe that the circumstances surrounding our situation deserve special attention. The violations that led to the lien were observed in September of 2025, and that included trash receptacles left out, scattered debris, a shopping cart, and a tarp on the garage. While I understand why those conditions raise concerns, I did not become aware of the situation until March of 2026, when I finally received an official notice of the lien on my personal residence. The reason for that delay was that the assessor's office had an incorrect mailing address on file for me, and as a result, previous notices were sent to the property itself rather than to my personal address, meaning I never had the opportunity to address the issues when they were first mailed out. As soon as we received the notice in March, I acted immediately, and within approximately 2 weeks, every issue identified by the city had been corrected. Those corrective actions were subsequently verified by Rich DiCarlo from the town zoning enforcement office, who confirmed that the property has been brought into compliance. Since then, I have also corrected the mailing address of the assessor's office to ensure that all future communications are sent to the proper address so that something like this cannot happen again in the future. I fully recognize that as property owners, we do have responsibilities, and we both do take those responsibilities very seriously. We own in other properties as well. Had I received the original notices, I would have addressed the concerns immediately, just as I did once when I became aware of them. I'm not here to argue against the city's blight or ordinance lien. I'm asking to consider the unique circumstance in our specific case, that there was a delayed notice with the incorrect mailing address, and that our immediate response, once I became aware of the issue, and that successful remediation of every site concerned, the city's verification that the property is now fully compliant, all demonstrate that this was not a case of ignoring the city's requests or refusing to maintain the property itself. Again, I've respectfully asked the board to exercise its discretion and consider removing or at least substantially reducing the lien in light of these circumstances. Thank you again for taking the time to hear my request and for your continued service to the residents of Ansonia. I sincerely appreciate your consideration, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have. Bloody, those two.
Yes, this isn't the, this isn't the time to discuss that.
I apologize.
But we will,
talk during public session.
Okay.
We just can't talk about it amongst our board at the moment
Okay.
because it's technically not on the agenda.
Okay.
So it's heard and it will be received, and we will discuss it, but just can't continue. That's all.
Okay.
That's it.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
May I
Did
ask
you
one
want to say
thing?
something
I'm
too?
sorry.
Yeah, of course.
What is your name? I missed it.
Bloody Trepka.
Okay, thank you.
Buddy, did you want to address as well? Yeah. You had
I mean,
paper in your hand as well.
yeah, I agree with everything Joe said. I just wanted to add that we are investors who do care about the city's rules and want to comply with them. I own the property across the street at 254 Main Street.
Yeah, we really can't address those issues
I'm sorry.
at this session.
Okay, understood. So tonight's meeting won't be discussed at all? This issue won't be discussed at tonight's meeting at all?
Would have to come up under, it was on, we've already discussed this in an executive session previously.
Yeah.
Had us come to this meeting specifically to be able to speak in front of everyone.
Yep, and I think you did the right thing, most definitely right now. It's just, our hands are a little bit tied right now because it is not on the agenda for us to discuss at the moment.
So piggybacking off that, it has to be on the agenda, and then we would typically discuss it in closed setting. Right now, it's the public setting. So, that's
okay, that's
the
okay.
part where it's not on the agenda for us to take it into the private session. So, yes, you did use the appropriate forum in terms of speaking to us. We just can't act or
Okay.
move on that.
Have Ron to follow up with, the Board of Aldermen and everybody to put it back on executive session, and we'll take it into further consideration.
Okay.
That being said, attendance in that would probably be, most recommended.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Anybody else with a comment?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hi, Karen.
Karen Reynolds, 22 Mountain View. I am currently appointed to 2 city boards, commissions, elderly services, and economic
Karen,
development.
excuse me, can you just pull your microphone down a little
Sorry.
bit? Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm currently appointed to serve on 2 city committees, elderly services and economic development. In addition, as many of you know, I also attend a lot of other boards and commission meetings. And one of the things I've observed, not only attending other meetings, but participating in other meetings or participating in the boards and commissions that I'm appointed to, there seems to be a lot of lack of clarity, confusion about what different boards and commissions, what their role is, the scope of their responsibilities, what the duties of their various officers are, what the duties of the members of the different boards and committees are. And this has made for some very interesting meetings, meetings where I've been told by the chair that they threw out Robert's Rules of Order a long time ago, meetings where they've had their minutes submitted by members of the public because apparently nobody in the board felt like taking minutes. And where I attended a particular commission with a issue regarding handicap parking, for example. And for 7 months, 7 meetings, January through July, we talked about handicap parking. And then at the most recent meeting, when I brought up the fact that the city was violating the Americans with Disability Act and provided the details, I was told that that particular meeting, that particular commission was no longer relevant to my issue and that I needed to come to talk to you folks about handicap parking. So I have some questions about things that you have on your agenda tonight, including the Great Coffee's application for town money to do a facade upgrade. That relates to my question about the scope of the Economic Development Committee, for example, because each of these boards seems to be defined by ordinances. So I would suggest that perhaps these ordinances all need to be revised, updated, fixed, annotated, or whatever, because a lot of them are out of date. A lot of them have misinformation. So I have been speaking to various people about my concern and trying to figure out who it is that I would address that concern to. Whose scope of responsibility as a city employee is it to look at the issues of what's happening with the boards and commissions? Are they operating the way they're supposed to? Do the members understand the scope of their responsibility? Are they actually following the terms of what's expected by the ordinance or common sense to fulfill their duties as board members or as a functioning city board or commission? And for example, I'm a little confused about the Great Coffee issue with the facade money, because that would seem to come under the Economic Development Committee. And it has been mentioned in the Economic Development Committee, and we've had a little bit of information about it, but it doesn't seem to smoothly connect between what you folks are doing and what you're talking about tonight, for example, and what the Economic Development Committee is either aware of or what we're doing. So that, I'm suggesting, is one issue of lack of clarity between who's responsible, a board or commission, the board of aldermen. There doesn't seem to be communication. There doesn't seem to be up-to-date information in all the different parties. So, I will tell you that I was a little confused when I presented my issue about the handicap parking signs, because I was told that you folks now are responsible for public parking lots. And I found it very strange to be told that at the end of the meeting, because earlier in the meeting, the commission approved signs for a public parking lot at the Armory. So I didn't understand why it was okay for the commission to talk about and take action on the public parking lot at the Armory, but to be told that my concerns about the public parking lot at Nolan Field had to come to you folks. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. I'm suggesting that because it is a city ordinance regarding all the different boards and commissions, that you guys are going to have to address making some changes in all the different city ordinances that relate to each of the boards and commissions. And I'm happy to work with you on that. Any questions?
Mr. Chair, I was just going to ask, it's me.
Oh.
It's me.
Oh.
It's me. I was just going to ask, you said you've been trying to locate the appropriate person, so I was going to ask, do you mind sharing who you've reached out to so far, so that I can get a grasp of, have you gone to like one person or two person?
Right. I started with Beth and kind of told her some of the shocking things that I had experienced the night previously at various meetings that I've gone to. And I've also talked to Javier about the issues, and he did point out that it would be an ordinance, the ordinances that apply to the boards and commissions. And so to the extent that the people on the various boards and commissions that I've been concerned about and spoken up in public session at those various boards and meetings, I think they kind of know that I'm concerned about what's applying to their particular boards and commissions as well.
Thank you, Karen.
Thank you, Karen. Is there anyone else who would like to make a public comment? Is there anyone in the audience who would like to make a public statement? This is the last time. Is anyone in the audience would like to make a public comment? Hearing no response, the public session is closed. We'll move now on to the public official session. Javi, do you have anything?
Hello, board. The mayor wishes he could be with you all today. Unfortunately, an emergency came up, and so he crafted a brief message for. Speak up. Yep. Hello, board. There you go. Yeah, no problem. Hello, board. The mayor wishes that he could join you all today. Unfortunately, an emergency came up, and so he crafted a brief statement for me to share with you all about the ongoing updates that's happening within the city. Work has begun on cleaning out the interior of the 175,000 square foot extrusion mill. Preliminary debris left scattered throughout. Stanford Wrecking is sorting debris to ensure that scrap metals and hazardous material, including asbestos, are kept separate from normal debris and miscellaneous garbage. The wall that was a safety concern on 35 North Main Street has been completed. It is located adjacent to the fuel cell site location. We are now pursuing funds for an alternate entrance to a feral property, which will provide access from North Main Street and eliminate the blind corner when exiting the facility. The scale for Public Works, we hope that Public Works will give us provide an update along with plans for fees soon. The water park at Nolan Field is now open. The cost to run this facility is $1,000 per week, and it had to be delayed until July 1st during the current fiscal year due to a lack of funding from last year's budget that the mayor could not open the park any earlier. A household hazardous waste HHW and paint collection event will be held on Saturday, September 26th at September 26, 2026. The collection will take place from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Ansonia Department of Public Works. You all are going to be talking about the city ordinance of speed cameras. There was a public session prior to the BOA meeting in order to start the process. Effective July 20th, the train station on the Waterbury line to Bridgeport will be halted. Buses will complete the transfer of passengers until June of 2027, when trains are scheduled to start running again. Work at the Beacon Falls and Ansonia stations can't be done safely while trains are running on the single track line. This includes shifting the track to align with a new, longer platform. The station will be handicap accessible with security cameras and blue light help boxes. Ticket vending machines will also be added to this project. The mayor has also asked for grant money to be applied at the old corporate offices of Farrell Corporation. The building is made of bricks covered in vines and located at 65 Main Street. It may be suitable for professional offices after evaluation is completed. We will be replacing the sidewalk on Howard Avenue that runs from the middle school to the Boys and Girls Club. Approximately $780,000 has been made available for this project, no cost out of pocket to the city. Eversource will begin repaving Howard Avenue and several other town roads. We are looking at repaving La Roba Terrace and parts of Beaver Street as well. Mike DeLesio is reviewing the paving plan we have in place for all city streets. He will be the one that can provide more information on that. As far as also updates from the mayor's office, we have kicked off our summer programs, and we have more summer programs coming up this month. We have for camps, we have a baseball camp happening from August 17th to the 19th, a softball camp from August 10th to the 12th, and a basketball camp that has already started from July 13th to August 3rd. More information, if you'd like to apply, please contact the mayor's office as well as Jeff Coppola, and we'd be willing to help you out. Also, our painting camp, which I've heard has been a success for all the kids that have shown up, is wrapping up, and I believe the last day was today. So we're very excited about that. A minor update that I have for the board, on July 22nd, we will actually be starting for our emails a .gov migration. That means all official city emails will be moving from .org to .gov. We will maintain the email history from previous emails, so we are not losing anything. And moreover, just to let people know that we will be switching to a .gov style email. If you email us at our .org, it'll still go through. So we're doing a migration period to move towards .gov. Past that, I know that I have an item on the agenda later. I'm happy to answer questions. Is there any other questions from the board you would like me to address?
Football clinic start 7:20.
Thank you. The football clinic.
Football 7:20 for the young kids.
All right. Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you, Hav. Mr. Jarman.
Thank you, Mr. President. I know you have a busy agenda, so I have a couple of updates. First, I just wanted to mention to you, Mr. President, you have a late communication, so don't forget to make a motion to accept that and put it on your agenda. Next, to sort of piggyback on what Hav was saying about a migration with .gov, we also have a new phone system that we're migrating to. That's going to be, the training's going to be offered next week. We're migrating to that. We don't expect any interruptions in service, and the numbers will remain the same as well. Over the last month, we did an OSHA training over at the senior center for members of the public works team and the police department, as well as our animal control officer. We just hired today, actually, a city hall custodian starting next Monday. So that's news. We have 2 union contracts that have been negotiated. They're with the unions. They're under consideration by them. An update on the, Hav had also mentioned the scale The scale is being delivered, as I understand it from speaking to Mike today, next week. So and I'm anticipating that he's going to have that fee schedule ready for you guys sometime in August, hopefully, for your guys' consideration. I know he's been going around to a lot of communities around here, comparing and contrasting, making sure the price points are right there. I'm anticipating 2 additional public works postings for 2 different positions down there, probably coming out this week as well. I know we've been talking about the HX implementation for time and accrual. There's been somewhat of a delay on that, not on our end, on theirs. They've had some vacations. They've also had an issue with what's called the converter, which is them creating the conversion from our police department, our public works department, and everything like that, and being able to convert the systems that we use and putting it into Paychex itself. Their team has been, they lost somebody, and then there was a couple of vacations. So I'm anticipating, I emailed back and forth today with the woman. I'm anticipating that we're going to get that back on track next week. So, that's my update, unless you guys have any other questions for me. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Hello, Carolyn.
Hello. Hello, everyone. I'll be brief too, as I know that there's a lot on the agenda. Our office has been working on the master list of cases, trying to get a real good handle on all of the cases that have been going on. We've had some that have gone to trial, and we are working through those. We have been working with the chief on the speed camera and the ordinance. We are also trying to streamline the process when freedom of information requests come into the city, and which departments they come into. We are trying to model a system that the police department utilizes, because they do have a model system, and we'd like to kind of copycat that through the city, so it would be easier to address all the freedom of information requests when they come in. And that's basically all I have tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Chief?
I have so many things on this agenda that I'm not going to talk about anything else, because I know that some of you know that I have a lot of things on the agenda. So if you guys have questions, I can answer them, but I do want to address one thing. Ms. Reynolds spoke about the meeting issues, and I do want to let her know that there was a lot of confusion about the parking lots, what was controlled by for parking inside the parking lots, and then signage on the outside. The signs that the armory that the Board of Police Commissioners approved were signs that would be on the outside of the parking lot, but there was questions about who controls the inside of the parking lot. It's gone back and forth a lot, and I think we finally have a resolution. I'm just waiting for a legal opinion from Attorney Adrowski, not Attorney Barrett, but I believe it's going to come back to the Board of Police Commissioners. Okay. But in the meantime, so we don't have to wait for another meeting, there is a part that the city engineer is going to have to get involved in, so I've already sent a request to the city engineer. So, Ms. Reynolds, I'm hoping at the next meeting we do have some kind of a resolution to that handicap parking. Other than that, you're going to have questions later, but if you have questions about anything other than things on the agenda, I'll try to answer. See you in a little bit.
Thank you, sir. That closes the public official session. Next, we're having a presentation by Special Counsel Gary Hale on the energy projects update.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board. I'll try to be brief. I wish I was finally showing up in front of all of you with some good news. That'll have to wait for another month. As you know, we did a lot of work with respect to the fuel cell project up in the north end, and during that examination and analysis of all of that, I was informed that the city of Ansonia, for some reason, in the past, decided, rather than leasing the space or entering into a power purchase agreement, decided to own 2 solar projects. One over here on East Main Street with the carports, and the one, I think there's 2 actually, but the one I'm referring to is on the landfill down at the Public Works Complex. I want to say, as someone who spends his life developing these projects for municipalities and schools and factories, I think these were good intentioned projects. Solar and parking lots is one of the best uses 4 parking lots where there's direct sunlight. A landfill is an even better use. My concern on behalf of, for the people of Ansonia is that the city should never be in the business of owning them. And I'm going to explain that to you as briefly as I can. It won't be, I wish it was short, but I'll do my best here. The invoices from the finance department show that the city of Ansonia paid $2.558 million to Johnson Controls for the landfill solar project. The Inflation Reduction Act of 2022 provides for a direct pay to local municipalities for those like Ansonia that chose to own their renewable energy projects rather than lease or have a third party own them and lease the land. The federal government would pay back the municipality 30% of the project cost in a direct payment. Because this project was built on a landfill, which may qualify as a brownfield under the Inflation Reduction Act under President Biden, there was a 10% adder. So the tax credit may have been maybe 40%. Before the Inflation Reduction Act, tax-exempt entities like a city facing upfront capital cost often saw payback periods stretched to 10 or 12 years or more. The introduction of the elective pay mechanism fundamentally changes the economics of municipal projects. Now, I can tell you, I've been involved in about 40 municipal projects. None of them has a municipality own them. It's not good business. It's better for a factory or a private entity because they can take advantage of the tax credits, they can do depreciation. This is a not-for-profit entity. It's bad financial business to mix the two. Good environmental policy, good cost savings, as long as you don't own it. So, normally, if you're going to own it, having crossed that bridge, the municipality pays 100% of the construction cost to the developer. It's placed in service, the system goes online, then the municipality must pre-register the project with the IRS and file a Form 990T or equivalent municipal tax return after the close of that fiscal year. Reimbursement, the IRS processes the return, issues the cash check to the city. From May 2025 through April of 2026, the city of Ansonia was paid $67,000 from the Aquarian Water Company, which uses the power from this landfill solar project and puts the power into the water pollution control plant. That figure is critical for using as the basis for calculating the payback period with a full year of production of solar power and consumption. Now, the operating rule, if you're going to own it, is that the sweet spot is about a 7-year payback. So you pay the money, you get the tax credit, there's revenue derived from selling the power. That revenue should equal your remaining cost over about 7 years. If it's a municipality or a not-for-profit that may be a little bit more concerned about helping the environment and less with payback, the general rule of thumb is to go to 10 years. If it's above 10 years, it's just regarded as an irresponsible financial decision. So please remember that because it gets worse here. Therefore, the 30% Inflation Reduction Act, paying $2.558 million, the city would have received approximately $767,000 from the federal government. With revenues for the power produced divided into that net figure, it leads to a payback period of, remember the 10-year rule, 26 years before the people of Ansonia will get their money back. Now, this is a bad deal, even with the 30% federal investment tax applied. Now, let's say the city did qualify. I personally think it would, because it's a brownfield. You get the 40% payback. Do the same analysis, reducing the original basis by the 40% figure, leaves a cost of $1.535 million with revenue $67,000 approximately. That reduces the payback period to 23 years. Still a very bad deal. Very bad investment for the people of Ansonia from a financial point of view. Now the bad news. The leaders of the city's finance department never filed the investment tax credit with the Internal Revenue Service. I want you to remember now, keep in mind, that the solar project on the landfill went into operation in the early summer of 2024. Therefore, under the federal rules, you have to apply in the following tax year, which was 2025. I'm going to read to you very quickly a response to Michael Iodice, our CFO, from Christine DeMetta, the CPA principal of Clifton Larson Allen Associates, which was recommended to the city by the Green Bank. These are folks with great experience in investment tax credits for energy projects. Mayor Tishka brought them on board. Hi, Mike. Thank you for providing the permission to operate for the landfill solar project. Based on the document, the solar system was placed in service on June 10, 2024. The investment tax credit has to be timely filed at a 990T for the fiscal year end it is placed in service. That is due 4.5 months after the fiscal year end, unless an extension is filed by the original due date for an additional 6 months. For the year ending June 30, 24, the latest this could have been filed was May 15, 25, more than a year ago. If an extension was filed, it could have gone to November 15th. She also talks about some dates, but the bottom line is it would have had to have been filed either in May or at the very latest in the fall of 25. You folks took over, along with the mayor, on December 1. It was not on your watch. Therefore, since the prior administration and its leaders of the finance department, I want to make very clear, I'm not talking about the 3 wonderful ladies who work in the finance department, Kimberly, Fran, and Marianne, is it? Anytime I've asked for information on this stuff, I get it right away. I wish I could bother them with some happy news. The failure to file the investment tax credit means the city of Ansonia, at the 30% level, lost $767,000 that you can't get back. At the 40% level, it means the city lost $1,023,000 based on the total cost that Kimberly gave to me in investment tax credit from the federal government. It's gone. This is not like the solar. I can't go up to Hartford and try to fix this. It's gone. $1 million or $750,000. So the bottom line, folks, is that having failed to meet the deadline, remember that 10-year rule I opened with? The payback period in Ansonia for the solar project at the landfill is going to be approximately 38 years. Because 2 people at the head of the finance department didn't do their damn job. And slow walked when Mayor Tishka came in, and I said to him, Frank, you got to find out about the tax credits for all of these projects. When are the deadlines? And talked, no filing, 38 years. Like I said, this is not something that can be solved at the Capitol in Hartford. It just shows, again, if a city is going to do solar, renewable fuel cells, battery storage, electric vehicle charging, these are all wonderful things. Just don't own them. It's not the city's core business. And if you are going to make that foolish decision, at least file the tax paperwork. They did nothing. And so we're going to dig further into it. It's like examining a car wreck. If I have any updates for you, the way I keep coming in on these energy projects and reporting to you, I'm pretty sure Chief Williams is not going to let me come in here anymore, because all I show up is with bad news. But the bottom line is you deserve to know, and the people of Ansonia deserve to know. Now, if you take that $750,000 and put it on top of the approximately $4.5 million that by next June of 27, the mayor will have to write out, figuratively speaking, checks for the fuel cell project, it's going to be about $5.5 million, $5.25 to $5.5 million for energy projects that the city should never have owned. And there's no stronger proponent for these kinds of projects here than I am. Just don't own them. If you have any questions, I'll try to answer them.
So, point of clarification through the chair. Gary, quick question for you. Regarding everything you've done with the fuel cell project, are you setting us up for success?
Yes. Yes. It's a slow go, Tyler, but yes.
We won't have the same issues.
No. No.
I'm sure there's more details to come on that at a
Yes.
later date, but at least we know we're going in the right direction.
Right.
Thank you, Gary.
Yep.
Two questions. Why is this coming to light now? And the second question is, do we have the possibility of selling this? Or any possibility of selling the fuel cell?
Okay, you mean,
Solar panels.
Chris, you're talking about why is the solar coming to light now?
Right.
Okay. When we were doing all the work on the fuel cell project, my one concern is because the city's already purchased the fuel cells at $37 million, 30% tax credit is $11 million. I said to the mayor when he first told me to get involved in this, make sure the damn tax credits are protected. And that's when he brought in these folks. And in doing that, I knew that the other projects, this one in the landfill, were previous. And so I asked the question. I thought, surely they filed the tax credit, and started to look into it and just kept asking. I was told by someone at Johnson Controls, well, you can just file an extension, you can appeal. There's no such thing. I mean, these folks are CPAs, this is what they do. And they said, nope, too late, you're out. So that's why it came up now. It was just sort of an innocent question, because those projects are like first cousins of the fuel cell, but they were done previously. I wished, we had known earlier. But I just finally, I asked through Javier and Michael Iadvice to push back at the CPA firm. I think on the third go, they finally said, too late. So we went down swinging, but that's that. And is there a chance it could be sold? My goal, we hit a home run at the Capitol on the fuel cells, just bringing back. We went from no fuel cell projects now to 2. The trickier one is the Johnson Controls one, to see if we can turn that into a winner for the city. We're going to make the Hyaxium one, which we got revived through legislation. We are going to make that a winner for the city of Ansonia. We're trying, Chris, to have third-party investment companies take a look at the whole package and see what they would consider paying to get the city out from underneath, especially with the bonds on the fuel cell project. I would say the odds were about, well, there were no odds before we passed the law, but maybe 1 in 4, 1 in 5. But I'm going to go down swinging on that one.
That would be best case scenario at
Yes.
this point in time.
On the fuel cell. Now, the solar panels, what's our liability here?
Well, the city paid about $5.7 million out of pocket for the 2 solar
Oh,
projects.
in cash?
Yes,
Okay. So that,
that's what. And Dan should have gotten either, if it's 30%, 750,000.
Right, I understand that we lost.
So you take the
money.
5.5 and you would have dropped it.
It would have, yeah, we would have gotten some money
Right.
back. But we've already lost that money.
Yes, you had the worst, there's 3 bad things that could have happened. I congratulate them, they did all 3.
But at this point, so there's no future liability.
No.
There-
What, you want some more?
But, okay, so there is potential value. We'll see if there's any value.
Possibly. You know, what Chris asked is the question, we'd really love to go achieve that, but if not, then we just have to make sure the revenue gets us to that wonderful 38-year payback period.
Have we filed paperwork for East Main Street?
For what?
For East Main Street for that solar?
The CPA firm is dealing with that. And they're-
Our deadline on that one has not passed.
No.
My next question is, have we asked these 2 individuals why they never filed?
No. I have not.
Would they have known?
Pardon me?
Should somebody have told them?
When the presentation was made here with your predecessors, the tax credits were a key part of the financial rationale to do this.
Yes.
So this is all dropped.
Yeah.
Something on the, someone says they're gonna pay you 30 to 40% back, you don't forget that. At least I don't.
Gary, what's the longevity of these panels? How long do they last?
Generally, the warranties go 20 to 25 years. There are solar projects around that are been up for 40 years. There's no moving parts except for the inverters. So you can replace parts of panels, and it's all generally computerized, so you know, well, panel 3A is broken, maybe a tree, something fell on it, and you get it replaced. So panels do last a long time, and the newer panels are of higher quality, so the technology keeps improving.
And all that power from the dump goes into a generator, which then powers public works down
Right.
there, correct?
Right.
Isn't that generator now on WPCA properties, and now it's no longer ours?
The power goes through the inverter, and it goes directly into the
Water
wire.
system, so they benefit from us on our taxpayer dollars.
Yes, but they're reimbursing dollar for dollar,
6,700, come on.
67,000.
We pay for it.
Thank you, Jerry.
All right.
Another question, East Main Street, where is that energy distributed?
I believe that energy, Joe, that goes to the various municipal accounts. Now, if you took it that way, lease the land, JCI would pay, based on the size, there's a rule of thumb, how much output. Okay, JCI is going to pay X dollars to the city of Ansonia, and Ansonia, in exchange, you're going to provide access to the property so they can get in, fix things, or maintain it, and the city is going to agree to consume the power. That's the standard way to do these things, the smart way. You can do it that way.
Are we held accountable by anything bound with the WPCA sale of having to keep that power going to the water, the WPCA?
I believe that the agreement includes the use of the solar project, because prior to Aquarion taking over, the power was to go in. So Aquarion is not, there's nothing they've done that's hurt or helped, they're just power users.
Would that complicate things with being able to sell?
Yes,
Okay, that's what I was wondering, yeah.
yes.
So realistically, it might only be East Main Street's project that we could potentially do anything with.
But we'll sell it. If we can find a buyer, we'll sell it. We'll figure it out.
Okay,
As long as the numbers work for the city.
okay, thank you.
That's good.
Anything else?
So, yeah, just one more thing, sorry, Gary. So, say best case scenario, you do end up selling it, does that mean that the city ends up incurring an electrical bill at this point, right?
Yes.
Okay. So the balance has to offset that. I would
Yes.
say there's something probably wrong with WPCA agreement where, it reduces the rate XYZ or whatever, it's kind
lot of people in green eye shades in the room figuring this out. And before I would recommend to this board or to the mayor, the numbers have to work.
Right.
The thing I'm most concerned about in response to your original question is trying to get the city out from under the bonds on the fuel cell project. This one is what it is.
So just speaking from I have solar. I invested in solar, I own solar, right? and I submitted my claim. I got my 30% from it, so it works. I'll tell you that.
You should have been the finance director.
I'll tell you what, I'd have done something, right? But my premise of this is it's only beneficial if the city was in really good standing and could pay that off without having to experience that debt, then we would be in a positive manner. But because we're already in a negative set, it kind of set us back even.
Yes.
So just making sure, I'm understanding this from my perspective is like my loan, if I pay my loan off, if I had the ability to pay my loan off in full, it would be beneficial
Yes.
over time.
Yes.
But in this perspective, it's not the case.
Yes. The
I went
city's-
into debt to get out of that.
The last I think it was Standard & Poor's, a year and a half ago, don't hold me to the dates, they did a slight downgrade of the city's financial standing and specifically mentioned the fuel cell project. Now, I'm hopeful what we did in Hartford will stabilize that, but they'll have to determine that.
Yeah, the premise is if I'm living on a, say, quote unquote beer budget, I can't purchase a Lamborghini, right? So this is kind of what we did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything else?
Thank you, Gary.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. My own comment, the gross negligence is astounding.
Yes, yes.
That closes our public official session and presentation by Mr. Hale. On to the financial reports. I need a motion to accept the Finance Committee financial reports. Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, the Finance Committee report is accepted. Next are the boat recommendations. I need a motion to accept those recommendations.
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Second.
Carl, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, vote recommendations are accepted. We have, thank you. I got two of them. I got double. I get to double it, huh? Okay, great. We have the refund report for the total amount of $5,252.25. I need a motion to accept the refund report.
Motion to accept.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, said report is accepted. Next, we have the department head monthly reports. I need a motion to accept those reports.
I make a motion.
Second?
I have a quick question.
Sure.
Does anyone know how the library's doing, the children's department? They experienced that flood?
Yeah, it's been,
She really said how when I read the report, like, obviously the children's room is in the teen room. I was just wondering, like, where we stand with trying to get her the funds to fix it.
Servpro's been out there, Servpro has cleaned it, the blowers have been there, the room has been dry. Talked to her today, she said there's still a little bit of a musty type of smell, but
Yeah.
they're working on that. And Public Works is, I know, going out there to completely cleanse and disinfect the entire children's room. And then hopefully I think there's a swollen part of the door that needs to be replaced, but it's minimal, thankfully, at this point in time. The insurance adjusters were out there last week.
Okay.
With Servpro, and they walked through with Public Works and kind of talked about each and everything and the things that needed to be done. There's some exterior work that was being done. The gas company had to fix a pipe. Public Works had to fix another pipe. There's some other things, and there's been some, that sort of stuff that outside of the children's room. But the children's room specifically, it looks like there's gonna be a little bit of work that needs to be done, but not a whole lot.
Okay. I just know she offers a lot of programs, so.
Do we have a date for when it might be open?
I don't. I know that, in talking with Jen, she was, had her concerns about Public Works being out and when they were gonna come out and do it. And talked to Mike today, and he said they anticipated being out there this week. So hopefully next week.
Okay.
Was any of the MPA work, responsible for any of that, or?
That is undetermined at this time.
Eyeballing over there, like constantly.
Yeah, no,
Sean, what did you say?
MPI's been replacing gas lines all up and down
Yes.
South Cliff,
I'm
Mott
aware,
Cottage, that
yes.
whole area.
So there is the possibility that some of that work did impact it. That's with the insurance adjuster as
Okay.
well, and they're evaluating whether or not there's the ability
Okay.
to go
Okay, all right.
in that direction.
Thank you. I just wanted.
And also to add very briefly, we on the city side, we want to make sure that they understand that we help out, we especially help when someone's in need. They reassured us several times that all of their programs are still operational, though they have changed locations. All programs in the library are still operational, and we reassured them on the city side, and we've had so many generous people from different city departments say, well, if you want to use our office space, please come by down. If you need anything from us, or if we need to continue programming, let us know. But
Okay.
everything should still be at the library.
I'll offer a second to the motion, noting that it hadn't been on.
Oh, I didn't,
All in favor?
all in favor, I'm sorry, all in favor, I was lost there for a minute. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? I apologize. So moved. Okay, next we have accidents and claims. We have a couple of accidents here due to potholes in the road. One from Felicia Boyd for the replacement of a mirror and a window, and the total comes to $501.99 for everything. Can I have a motion to accept this claim?
I will make a motion to accept this claim and reimburse Felicia.
Second.
The full amount.
Do I, Tyler, you got a second? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions?
Can I just indicate, the normal process has been to refer them to council for evaluation to determine if it's a viable claim as opposed to right off the bat indicating that they would be reimbursed.
No, now they kind of changed that.
They did it?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
So,
Yeah, 'cause the ones that are,
Here are the ones that are being acted upon? Okay, sorry about that.
do not bother.
so we're good?
Yep.
Okay, the second claim from Caitlin Philogene. Again, a pothole damage, and her total is $331. I need a motion to accept and provide reimbursement for this damage.
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, it is passed. Communications. Oh, no, we have, right, gotcha. A motion to accept a late resignation from Irene Crome Kirby. I need a motion for that.
Motion to accept?
Second?
Second.
All in favor? All opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, we wish Irene good luck in whatever she does now. Then we have
Edward Jones.
Edward Jones. Sure.
Total was 63, 62, not the 351.
Okay. Okay, we have to go back over, that was Philogene, you said? Right, I had the wrong figure there. It's, what is it, Chris?
$658.62.
I make a motion that we adjust the reimbursement to that, 658, and how much, how many cents?
62.
67 cents?
62.
62, I'll get it, okay. Do I hear a motion for that?
So moved.
Second.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Abstentions? Hearing none, that figure is reconsidered. Okay, and then on to Edward Jones. Do I hear a motion to accept the resignation of Edward Jones?
I'll make a motion.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, we wish Mr. Jones also success in his future endeavors.
Mr. President, please, for the next part, please don't forget to accept the late communication.
I was going to just get to that. Oh, on to communications. We have a late communication from the Economic Development Corporation. They have a late entry for their report. Do I have a motion to accept their late entry? Second?
I'll second. But there was, point of clarity, there was another resignation, correct me if I'm wrong, right?
That was the first one I read.
Yeah. Okay, we went to, all in favor for the report? All opposed? Abstentions? Hearing none, the report is accepted. Okay. We have communications from Chief Williams for the waiver of a bid for the purchase of two 2026 Ford Utility Police Interceptors vehicles and adjoining equipment. Do I have a motion to accept that communication?
Make a motion.
What's that? To approve that, I'm sorry, to approve that. Do I have a motion to approve that? I'm sorry.
Make a motion to approve.
A second? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, that is approved. Another one for storefront facade improvement loan for Jonathan Lopez, Great Coffee Shop. Do I have a motion? I need a motion to approve that communication.
I'd like to discuss.
It's good to put the motion on the floor. Motion.
You said you wanted to discuss it, Ty?
I make a motion to discuss the communication for storefront, Jonathan Lopez, Great Coffee.
Can I give a point of clarity?
Yes.
So you can discuss when there's a motion on the floor. So it goes motion, second, discussion, then the voting on that motion. That is the Robert rules. For point of clarity.
I'll make, go ahead.
Move it to the floor.
And I'll second it.
All in favor?
No, that's discussion.
Oh, discuss, oh.
What do you got? So Tyler, what's it do?
It's now your turn.
Just a point of clarification, obviously, that the loan is, city gives out the money, and the communication is that they'll be paid back in 2 years, based from the date of signature. So, just making sure we all understand it's a 2-year timeline where they have to pay it back. And at the end of the day, if, say, for example, this company goes out of business, they have no legal obligation to pay us back for that money. So, that being said, obviously supporting, updating our, downtown is important. I've been to the Great Coffee, first of all. I think they have great coffee. Just to throw that out there. But I just obviously want to bring that to the board's discussion as,
following up with? Have they reached the max of 2 years? And should we be asking them for the money back at this point?
I can
Yes,
speak
yes,
briefly
thank
to that.
you.
On
I
behalf,
think
because I had just had this conversation with Joe. There are several accounts that are like that, either that have,
Are
that
past the
council is addressing. I'll put it like that to leave it kind of open-ended. Council's addressing it and doing his best to recover and recoup.
Yeah, an estimate of possibly the actual successful loan rate?
I don't have that. I don't know the total numbers. I know the ones that are with council, he's taking the steps to attempt to collect. He's taking collection efforts. There's been a slew of emails that have been sent out to every single person that has had a facade loan, and everything that was within the time.
So I'm assuming they signed something, right, in goodwill saying we will pay X amount of dollars back within a 2 year?
Yes, correct.
So these are businesses that are delinquent or just out of business?
Combination of kind of
both?
both. Yeah. There's been either a business that went out of business, that the repayment didn't happen within the timeframe.
Well, if they went out of business, what's the repercussion?
It depends on whether it was an LLC, a partnership, and seeking the remedies that way. That's what council's been exploring.
This is a beautification project. It's to improve the looks of downtown Ansonia and draw businesses in. So it's a donation, how I look at it, from the city.
Yeah, but I don't want businesses to pull that same perspective, you know what I mean?
Listen, if we could fill every empty spot, let them.
Well, my thing is let's say we go to Green Coffee, right, and they get theirs, right? What's to stop Carver City or any of the other bail bonds? Lord knows that'd be nicer with some assignment on it.
They have to come to us.
Right, so I I'm only saying I don't want to set a precedent here where we give out the money as a donation. The expectation is that we should be collecting on these consistently.
Point of order, the message that we received as communication from the EDC explains kind of where the fund balance is right now. And this program continues to succeed if those funds remain or get paid back. We're putting good faith into this business. And I think further discussion about the program itself is not necessarily the point of this communication, this application, but we've had good discussions about it. And I think it's an important thing to continue discussing. But I think the program is in the best interest of the city right now. I think we can be possibly better organized. And I would be in favor of, continuing it as we have done, at least with this one.
I'm not opposing that at all. My point is that I don't want it to be a consistent letdown where we just give out free money and never expect anything back.
We can do that.
So,
I want to make a point to what Tyler's saying. I mean, Great Coffee just opened. What basis for their finances going forward, and they're going concern, are they going to be in business X, Y, Z down the road? That they can pay this back. Is there a minimum? It doesn't look like it is from what I've seen on the EDC stuff, but is there a minimum? It'd be a business before they can apply for this, not right out of the gate, and they're taking on liability and like that.
I think signage to me is what they're looking for, and that's how they encourage more business, and, it's cart course,
But it still comes down to we're giving them a loan.
Right, we're giving them a loan, and we're hoping that they do well and pay us back.
For information through the chair to Mr. Jowman, do you know who's handling the contract right now? Was anyone updating it?
That I know that.
I can speak to that. I do know that it did take us some time to put together all of the agreements that were done in the past. We have identified all of them, and then some of them where there wasn't payments made, we had to track down a payment to, hopefully stop the statute of limitations so we can go and recoup the money. We are in the process of updating the contract and the loan documents to make it more streamlined and uniform so that it's easy to continue to collect and have a procedure in place if the payments aren't made so that the city will not be out this money.
Thank you.
We're gonna make it back.
that being said, I make a motion to approve the communication for the storefront facade improvement loan, Jonathan Lopez, Great Coffee.
Point of parliamentary order. So there is a motion on the floor. There is already a second on the floor to approve this. You were part of the discussion. discussion, so once the discussion is ended, then you can just go vote. Just.
Go ahead. Great.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Grade 8 is approved. Great. Grade 8. Grade 8. Next up is an upgrade to our website agreement with Catalyst. And I believe, Javi,
Yep, so, this project started on slightly before I got on board, but there was, the board of, you all as a board approved for us to take bids for a new website. Our current website was QSend, which was bought out by Catalyst. And so we reviewed all the bids. Catalyst, which is the bid that we would ask for you to allow us to accept, is the cheapest one. Also, they're the most familiar with our system due to the fact that they bought out the previous company they were using. It would be roughly, and we're working out a couple of discrepancies, $17,000 for the first year, $10,000 for the following year. To put in perspective, some of the other bids that we were looking at, Civic Plus would be $58,000 yearly, Concourse would be $31,000 yearly, and Incyphers would be $48,000 yearly. The way that I put it, you can get a Lamborghini or a Honda Civic, and so, you know, we trust the reliability of the Honda Civic when it comes to Catalyst. Yeah.
And this is something we need to do.
Yes.
I know that, I'm just wanting to.
Yeah, we need a website.
Absolutely, we need to update our website.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, website.
Move we accept it. Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, Catalyst website agreement is approved. Next up, ordinances. We have the automated traffic enforcement safety devices. Chief?
Block camera, right, Chief? Block cameras?
All right, let's get out of there.
Don't say that.
Tired of hearing about flock cameras. So, that doesn't say I don't like flock cameras. I'm saying these are not flock cameras, okay? So I'm gonna try to make this, I have like an executive summary that I wanna kind of talk to you about, but it's taken into account a lot of questions that came up. Some of you were at the public session. There were some good questions at the public session, some off-topic questions. But it's gonna try to cover this. So, the ordinance committee, as you know already, we met, we went over this at length. So what this is for you to approve the ordinance that has now been forwarded to you from the ordinance committee. It authorizes basically the city of Ansonia, by passing the ordinance, it authorizes the city to use automated traffic enforcement devices for speed and red light cameras. We are initially looking at speed cameras, but red light cameras may follow. The statute that covers this ordinance basically follows the state statute, what was passed by the state. The statute, the ordinance makes sense to cover both, because if you were to just cover, the ordinance is exactly the same as what the state law says when it comes to this. So if you were to just cover red lights, then if you decide to move into speed cameras, if you decide to do red lights, now you'd have to come back and do a whole new ordinance again. So it just makes sense to cover both. Doesn't mean you're going to approve either. It just means you have an ordinance that now authorizes you to move forward in the process. Administration of this will be covered by the police department. Implementation is governed by the Public Act that was passed by the state. The ordinance basically establishes the framework, the legal framework that allows you then to move forward in the process. Just so you understand, this does not authorize cameras in specific locations. This is the first step. The next step that would take place is hiring a vendor, and you'll see that there's something in your executive session tonight. And then the vendor will redo the traffic studies that we've already previously done, and we have a couple of those that we're going to add. And then if the traffic studies come back and show there is a problem, there isn't a problem, whichever way, then will select the locations that there are problems at, and then that has to come back to another public hearing, and then that has to go back before this board. So one of the questions that got raised during the public session was, well, you can then, once you approve this ordinance, you guys can expand it to whatever you want. That's not true at all. I will be honest with you, this board doesn't even have final say. The final say comes from the Department of Transportation's OSTA office. If they say, if you said, yes, we want to send those up, and they say no, then it's a no. They have final say on this. What I've learned from working with our vendor and working with the town, with other towns, is don't send up ones that are questionable. They're not going to approve them. You have to show that A, you have a speed problem on the street, B, that it falls within the regulations, and they also do traffic studies, they do accident study to see what kind of accidents you have, et cetera. So the state is very strict on this. They do not just approve them. It is a lengthy process. So I know some people are afraid that if we approve one, well then we can just put one up on every street. You're not allowed to do that. So I wanted to get that out of the way. This is, I know the other questions come up, is a money grab by the city, it's just another way to tax people. That is not what I look at it from. I will tell you that the representative from the vendor that we're looking at is in the audience. I hope he never makes a penny. I hope we never issue a ticket. I know he doesn't want to hear that, but I'm telling you that from my point of view, I would rather not issue tickets. If people don't speed, they don't commit violations, then we won't issue any tickets, and we can all sing kumbaya. Do I think that's what's going to happen? No. No, unfortunately, some of your speakers talked about people's driving habits. They're not getting better, they're getting worse. So we have to use this as a tool. It is not the ultimate solution. There is no magic wand. It is a tool for us to use. They're going to go in school zones. They would be looking at school zones, pedestrian safety areas, or other locations where we have problems. Focus on this is prevention instead of punishment. So we'll be talking, let me go into it a little bit more. So I talked about cameras can't be installed anywhere we want them. Violations are anything over 10 miles and over or more above the speed limit. That was set by the state statute.
It's
So
10,
you
I
can't-
thought it was 15.
No, it's 10 or more. So there is a 30-day warning period. There's an education point to this. So we get, let's say the state approves it, we put the cameras up. The first 30 days, you're not allowed to issue tickets. It's only warnings. Anybody who commits a violation gets a warning for the first 30 days. You also have to do a public education component to this. We put it out on our social media pages. We put it on the city's website. Hey, there are cameras. You have to put enough signage up. There's very specific signage that has to go up to warn people, hey, there's a camera up ahead. So it's basically like you're giving away the answers to the test. People still going to fail the test.
Chief, I have a question. When you say a warning, do they send a picture of your car? With
Oh
the
yeah,
warning?
you get a picture. So even with the ticket, it's going to
No,
be
I'm
very.
asking.
Yeah, it's going to be.
Well, that's what they do.
Yeah, let me guess.
Nice picture
Route
of my car.
66 after the game.
No,
Ah.
actually, it was in Milford.
Milford.
Yeah, Milford.
Woodward's
Milford
Road,
just
they
put a whole
cut
bunch
out.
out.
Did you get a warning?
Yes.
Yes.
No fee.
So when you get it in the mail, you get a picture of your vehicle. It has your information.
Yeah.
It tells you the date, the time, the location. It's very clear.
I can
as
show
to-
you one if you
that there
want
was
to
a-
see it.
And then in some people's case, it tells you how to pay the ticket.
What's the turnaround time?
So
What's the turnaround time from point of, how fast you get the ticket?
So by ordinance, we're required to go out in 30 days, but after 60 days, you can't send a ticket out. But it's much quicker than that. The turnaround is much quicker, unless there's some kind of issue with, like the vehicle doesn't, the registration doesn't match the vehicle, et cetera. But yeah, no, it's much quicker, I think you'll find.
I got mine July 9th was the ticket, and I got it in the mail today.
Yeah, so they're
I
pretty
got
quick.
mine within
Well,
10
it wasn't.
days.
Yeah, they're.
I just want to make sure it doesn't fall, 30 days, so.
No, it's much quicker. So that's the warning
I didn't get
period.
a warning.
Just so you know, these cameras, the cameras don't have final say, I guess is how I have to make people understand. This is not an AI generated, you get a ticket. So let's say your vehicle goes through, it captures you going above the speed limit, takes a picture of that. That data is then reviewed by the vendor. The vendor has a human being look at the data. They determine yes, this is a violation that appears to be a valid violation. That, if they say, no, it's not, the plate, you can't read it, the plate doesn't match the car, there's no plate on the car, etc., it doesn't even, we never even see it again. It just gets disposed of. Now, if they do match, they send it to somebody from the city. Another set of human eyes will look at it and has to approve the issuing of a citation. Once it's approved, then the vendor sends out the citation and the process starts. So just so you understand, it's called automated, but it's not automated. There are human eyes, and a city of Ansonia employee has to approve it.
Who checks those tickets?
So that's a great question. We're working with the personnel department. It's going to be, what I'm trying to avoid it being is a sworn police officer, because that's paying a lot of money to somebody to do this. But we're looking at hiring either people who have some experience with automated systems, retired officers, something along those lines on a part-time basis, so that we're not paying a huge amount of money. And just so you know, the cost of any employee that has to do with this system can be paid out of any revenue generated by the system. So it should be at net zero on the city side.
It's free to the city.
Yeah, this program is free to the city, just so you understand. Now, when I say free to the city, yeah, you may be paying an employee to review these, but the revenue generated, if there's no violations, there's nothing to review, so then we won't bring the person in to review them. But at the end of the day, you do not pay the vendor, nor do you, the city will never write a check to the vendor for any of this. You'll write a check to an employee, but that's because they're reviewing it so that you can process this.
And then, Wayne, can you clarify to everyone, I know that you have said this to this board prior, is that all the money that is received from these citations and tickets has to go back into the Ansonia Police Station, like Ansonia
Nope.
Police Department? Oh,
Nope,
it
a little
doesn't?
bit different. It has to go back into this program,
Okay.
improving traffic safety issues and infrastructure. Departments have used it to pave roads. Departments have used it to reconfigure intersections. But it cannot go into your general fund as,
Okay.
use it for whatever you want.
It's safety.
The state, yeah, it has to be
Okay.
safety related. The state is very clear on that it's in the state statute.
It's not recognized as revenue.
What?
It's not recognized as.
No, and I will tell you, some departments have gotten into trouble when they anticipate this as revenue, they're building it into their budgets, because what you're doing then is you're not saying it's about safety, you're saying it's about making money.
Right.
And that is not what the purpose, that's why I'm not bringing it to you. I'm not bringing it to you so you can make money off of it, being honest with you. But if money is generated and revenue is generated, and you can put that back into infrastructure and fixing roads and stuff like that, win-win, win-win. So, I'm sorry, somebody had a question.
Yeah, can we use this towards sidewalks?
I would get clarification, I would just want to make sure I'm correct.
Yeah.
But if your sidewalks are improving, I know where you're going.
You know exactly where I'm going.
I know where you're going.
That's a
If
state
it
road
is
then.
improving road safety
Yep.
by getting pedestrians off of the roadway, walking in the roadways, I would argue, yes, that is something you can use it for. I would just make sure I had counsel, try to double check it.
Yep.
That's all.
Yep.
I don't want to give you a specific price, but I know where you were.
No, you know.
So I talked about the warning period, the review, fine structure, first offense is $50 plus a $15 fee. And that fee, and then part of that money is then goes back to the vendor for letting us use their system. It's not only their camera system, it's not only their ticketing system, but it's also their appeal. There's an appeal process I'm going to where we use an appeals process, and we have to have a hearing officer for anybody who wants to appeal. I'm going to go into the appeals in a second. So it's $50 and $15 fee and a $15 fee for first offense. Second offense is $75 and $15 fee. And these are again these are state mandated. It's how the statute reads. It's very clear. There are no, one of the questions, there are no criminal charges with this. There are no points against your license with this. There are no, it doesn't get reported to your insurance company. It's a civil violation. That's how it is written by the state statute.
Chief, one question. What happens if you find an unregistered vehicle? Does that fine?
Well, it depends. So you cannot use these cameras, and this kind of gets into a clock conversation. You cannot use these cameras for anything else. It's statute is very clear, it cannot be
So
used
it's
to
only
enforce
speed
any other law.
or red light?
Nope, it cannot be used to enforce any other law. It is specific to a speed camera, that's it.
Okay.
Can't be used for anything else.
Or red light?
Yeah, or a red light if it's a red light, yeah, correct.
For
Yep.
information as well, I know we talked about this a little bit in the ordinance meeting too, because these were very good questions, specifically when it comes to cyclists and people that have unregistered vehicles. You'll kind of know though, right, that,
So I'm gonna address, because I actually talked to the vendor, because I want to make sure I understood. So if it is a motorcycle that's unregistered, if it's a dirt bike, if it's a quad, if it's a snowmobile, whatever we ride on the streets, because apparently we can drive anything nowadays. If it doesn't pass the first test, then it cannot get to us. So when they look at it and they see it's a dirt bike with no license plate on it, it stops because it did not pass their first test, so they cannot send it to us, or it would be erased. Because that's a big bone of contention. You've seen in the state, keeping this data, how long are we keeping it for, et cetera. That would not even come to the police department. Now, I would still tell people, if you see these violations, contact us.
Yeah.
On a side note, I know we've been talking about dirt bikes and mini bikes, and electric bikes. I wish they'd never created those. Don't buy them for your kids, by the way. But those bikes that you're seeing committing all these violations are not stopping for your police officers either. I can tell you, not last night, but the night before, there were 3 separate occurrences where they were chasing bikes. They can't chase them, so as soon as they put the lights on, they take off from the officers. So they're trying, we're working on some other plans, we'll just leave it at that, to address some of these bikes, because we're not gonna chase teenagers on these bikes, because something bad is going to happen at the end. But I cannot express it enough that people are buying their children these vehicles, and there is no rules. They have no rules when we drive this. It's a bad idea. I'm just gonna leave it at that. We talked about this with the Nolan Field ordinance. We talked about it's just a bad idea. Your children are not supposed to be doing 20 miles an hour on these things. I'm just telling you that. I saw one the other day, and he was 10 years old. I'd be surprised. All right, back to this. You do have the right to an appeal. You do have the right to have a hearing. You can contest the citation, request a hearing, present evidence, and have it heard by an independent hearing officer. While those hearings would be held at the police department, they were held by somebody who is not a police employee, and we still have to work that out. We still have some time to do that. We have to work out who's going to handle it. My first thought initially was counsel, and then I thought about that's probably not a good idea. So we do have to have some conversations. I have some ideas, because we do have a hearing officer for parking tickets. It's an outside person. So I have some ideas.
point of information, one more time too, because I
Yeah.
know we already talked about a lot of this in the ordinance
And I'm
meeting.
trying to get to
Yeah,
that.
but, so I know we discussed, what part of the process does that happen in? It's gonna be before we get to any placement of cameras, right? Because I'm just wondering. I know
Which
we talked
process?
about-
Oh, who the hearing officer would be?
Yes. So that's
It's
step
something,
one.
yeah, it's the same. Joe, you'll have to correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe new job descriptions have to come before the board anyway. Yeah, so it would probably be all at the same time. It would probably be, here's the job description, here's another job description. Who the city hires to do these, I don't know if that would specifically, specific employees, but at least the job description.
My thinking is before we get that, like, we'll know that we have people that we have staffing for before we get the cameras.
Yeah,
I know
oh,
concerns gonna be-
100%. Even this process is not going to be next month
Is
for
it?
a company. This is going to be dragged out a little
Yeah.
because once OSTA gets it, they have 90 days, I believe. 60 days?
60 days.
Thumbs up or down? Just tell me.
60 days for first review,
Oh.
more than likely they will find little critiques and little things, we'll kick it back.
Exactly, right.
And then we fix it, resubmit back to them.
Right, so it takes a couple of months before the state approves it, and then it's going to take again, then they have to install the camera, pull the permits, et cetera. So there's a little bit of a process.
Yeah.
So I talked to you about the appeal. What you can appeal and how you can appeal is based in the state statute. There are very specific reasons. This is not, I didn't do it. That's not the basis of your appeal. Appeals are, is it an emergency vehicle in operation? Because yes, emergency vehicles responding to calls do exceed the speed limit. Are you following a police officer's direction? I think there was somebody who had the question here where the red light came, but what if somebody's telling me to go through the intersection? It's going to show that. Yielding to an emergency vehicle, you're trying to pull over, you may have to pull over, not really for speeding. just so you guys know, if you're yielding to an emergency vehicle, do not speed up. That's not podium. If your vehicle was stolen at the time, that is a defense. Malfunctioning traffic signal is a defense, and if the camera is not properly calibrated, it's a defense, and then I yell at the vendor when it wasn't calibrated. Privacy is a big topic with this. The ordinance requires that personally identified information is protected. Just so you understand, this goes to us. It doesn't go anywhere else. It's not FOIable. What is FOIable is that they can say, hey, how many tickets did you give out? Not that Jasmine would ask me any questions, but they could ask you how many tickets did you give out, what percentage was a drop, stuff like that. But you cannot get any of the personal identifiable information. It can't be shared. It can't be given to any other vendor. None of it can be shared. Freedom, like I said, FOI laws still apply, but you cannot release their personal identifying information. The vendor is also restricted as to what they're allowed to do, which is basically nothing. They are able to send it to us, and they're able to do the billing. Just so you know, the vendor has to have some of the same certifications that we do to look at personal identifying information. It's called CJIS. They have to be CJIS certified to look at anything related to like who is the owner of the vehicle, so they can mail a ticket, etc. Just so you know, ticket does not go to the driver. It goes to the registered owner of the car. If you let your kids drive your cars, you're responsible for their tickets. I know you may get it from them somehow, but I'm just letting you know it does go to the owner, the registered owner of the vehicle. So just so we know that it's not taking a picture of the driver's face. Talked about revenue restrictions, so somebody already asked, so we already did that. We are required to report to the state at year's end, how many tickets you gave out. There's a question that we have to fill out for the state. All these already? You guys asked good questions, so I just want to look at the questions people asked. I know there was one question that came up. One of the people in the public session asked about whether these cameras are put on hills or on flat level. They're put where the violations are. I can tell you that in any town you go to in Ansonia, if it's a 25-mile-an-hour zone, it doesn't matter if you're going uphill, downhill, or it's on flat level. It is not a gotcha moment, but if there are serious violations there, and there's a lot of them, that's where it would end up. So I know that I've talked to you a little bit about where we initially are looking at. Persian Drive is one of them. Ford Street was another one. Those were ones that we initially, when we did our studies, those popped off the screen. It was very obvious. If those pop again, then that's what we'll go. I expect they will. Those are still problem areas. We're still dealing with speed problems on those areas, using officers. But it's going to be, and if you think about Ford Street, for those of you from the Hilltop, you're talking between 2 elementary schools, including a high school track and field. So all that's over there are kids. So you should not, I will tell you, I was a little concerned because I did see, I don't know if you know, people comment online, but people comment online about a lot of things, and some of the comments were to increase the speed limits, and that would stop the speeding problem. Yeah, we're not going to do that, just so you know. That is not even open for a discussion at this point. The process, just so you know, to increase your speed limit is not, you can't, this board has to say over it, DOT has to approve. And DOT will say why. Now, there are reasons sometimes. I will tell you, there are some places they reconfigure the road. It stops being residential, becomes more industrial, whatever they may. But this town is a small town. The speed limits are appropriate in this town. So I think I might have gotten field process, public safety expansion. I know there was a lot of questions about, from one, he had a lot of questions, I just couldn't get them all. Expansion, especially of the program. Again, any expansion has to come to this board. Any additions have to come to this board. We talked about unlicensed
I just
vehicles.
want to make a point of the question.
Go ahead.
Speed limits. If you're going to change the speed limit, reduce it or whatever, doesn't it go to the police commission first and then go to DEP?
Yeah, there's a process. You have to, you basically have to
I want them to know.
Yeah, you definitely have to do a study as to why you want to increase it or decrease
But
it.
it has to go to the police commission.
But the police commission has to approve it, you have to have a traffic study done, and then you have to explain, you have to appear to DOT and explain why you
So anybody that wants to
Bless you.
do the speed limit increase,
Yeah.
they have to go to police
Yeah,
commissioner.
okay.
And with this, you also have to follow the process too. It's,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm just letting you know that's
But it-
increasing the
it's
speed limit
We
to
have
lower
nothing
the
to do with
violation.
speed, like you
No.
said.
camera.
Personal identifiable information. I think I covered everything, but I am open to questions.
Point of information.
Trying to cover as much as I
One we
could.
got that was definitely a different one, but it was brought up, this won't impact anything related to our current traffic. So a red light is still the same time, yellow light
Oh,
is still,
yeah.
right? Okay.
Yeah, we're not, I know that somebody did bring that up.
They did.
I think it was a conspiracy thing, just so you know, that's not my
Yeah.
opinion. But we do not change the timing. I will tell you, we're trying to learn from mistakes that other towns made. So I've talked to the vendors of other towns. Some towns had lowered the speed limit, then put their cameras up. I think that's not exactly the fairest thing to do. But we aren't changing timing, we're not changing speed limits. We're basically saying, slow down. And I will tell you, in law enforcement, when I first started, there was something called omnipresence. Omnipresence meaning, get it to a point where people think there's always a cop sitting on that street. I hope people think there's a camera on every street, because then slow down. And my accidents stop, and my serious injuries stop, and insurance rates stop going up, et cetera. So, again, not the answer, not the magic wand, but definitely a tool that I think that the city can use. Other questions?
Point of information, one more question. We talked, like, so much of this we already talked about at the ordinance meeting, you went over it so
Yeah.
well too. We talked about signage. I also noticed on my GPS, I usually get a little, hey, traffic cameras here, will we have that too? Does that?
So I can't tell you that I don't believe it's the camera companies that are reporting that. I think it's, so if you use Waze, you know how you can do your own self-reporting. I think that's how a lot of them are going through. But there are so many places out there now, if you look online, where are the cameras? And there's like massive of them everywhere. I just saw a deep-flock one for flock now, so that was pretty interesting.
I have a question. City and emergency vehicles, is somebody gonna be screening these?
What do you mean?
You know, if there's an emergency, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
what happens is,
City vehicles.
so what would
sometimes
happen
they
is, if, say a police vehicle responding to, or an
I'm not
ambulance
worried
or a
about
fire truck.
I'm worried about DPW, people like that who go into breakage or something like that.
Well, here's the news. So there is, yes, there is a process. So the vendor would say, hey, there's a violation, the plate matches it, they don't care if it's on a city pickup truck or whatever, they're gonna say, yeah, the plate matches it, it's going to come to us. We can then have those conversations about, but it doesn't mean, because you're a city worker, you get to speed.
I didn't say that.
No, you know it. But,
That's why
right,
I'm
they're
sure
trying to
that
get to
if
something.
we have a pipe break or something, somebody
Understood.
doesn't get a ticket.
100%, yeah, 100%.
Volunteer
So,
firemen?
Thank you, that's the other one.
100%.
And as Chief mentioned, that there's literally in the ordinances section on
Yeah,
that.
it talks about that.
But somebody's
And
got
even
to-
if they were to get one,
Yeah, someone's-
they would just appeal and we would, but there's a process,
Okay.
which is why I like that a city person is actually the one looking at it.
Okay, good, very good, thank you.
Yep. What else?
One more, and I think that's my last one.
Are you sure?
I think so. We talked about this already, but just for like the public that's here now as well. My only concern is like more so, are we prepared for the influx when we get that? Because of the other towns that in cities we talked about. So this is the future,
Yep.
which probably need to be cognizant of that.
So, I will tell you the way we're looking at it is initially, how many cameras will be put up?
Yeah.
We already know what the average violations are. So we'll know what, now I will tell you, just so you understand, there's going to be in the first month from warnings to enforcement, a significant drop. There'll be a significant drop. Every town that's done them has seen 80%, 90%. There's been a significant drop, which is good. So we'll have an idea, ballpark idea, and there's also a formula out there of how many can be approved within an hour, each hour that the person works. So it'll all depend on, do we hire one person, two people, do we stagger their shifts? We'll have it figured out, and then we'll work the kinks out as we go. Yeah, we'll have to work some kinks out. And none of you in this room say you don't know anything about speed.
I've learned a lot.
We know that they're not flock cameras.
Yeah.
That's one thing.
Will the 30-day period be clearly
The what?
the 30-day grace period.
The 30-day warning
Will it
period
be
is very clear.
clearly-
We will put something out that says, these are active as of this date. And then we will put another one out saying, tickets are coming as of this date.
So as long as I get one within
Yeah,
that
just the
day,
30 day. And you
I
can get more
show
than
up-
one.
I can show up to the appeal process. and
Yeah,
say,
well, you
hey.
won't have to appeal because you didn't get a ticket.
Okay.
You'll just,
On that 31st day.
well, he's already anticipating.
Look, there's already two no person in the room that got one from two different places. I got
It's
two.
true. There's more than two in this room.
Chief? Wait.
Yes.
These cameras, they can only go up on city roads, not our state road.
They go on city and state roads.
They can't go on state roads.
City and state roads.
So Pulaski Highway wasn't one of the things?
That was one that we did a previous study on and didn't have the number of violations.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, but they can go on, because Persian Drive is technically a state road. So they can go on, but there's a permitting process, and the vendor handles everything from start to finish. They own it. If a car comes down and takes it out, it's their responsibility to put it back up. We don't pay for it. Okay?
And how do we pay the vendor? How does the vendor get paid?
Vendor takes basically a percentage of the processing fee for allowing us to use their system. That's how they're getting
And
paid.
what's their percentage?
It depends on the ticket, but it's somewhere around $13. Somewhere around $13. So it's covered by the $15 administrative fee.
Thank you.
Okay? Anything else? Oof. I was trying to keep it under Gary's speech, but.
Well, I need a motion to approve the adoption of the automated traffic enforcement safety devices.
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second? All in favor?
We had a discussion. or
All opposed?
Did we need anything from the vendor?
What?
Did we need anything from the vendor?
Nope, we were talking about having, just so you know, I was talking about having the vendor do a presentation, but I actually think the vendor's presentation is probably going to be more suited for the next hearing when we have streets, because then he can show you the speed studies and what they did and what's going to OSA. Him and I had a good conversation about it earlier. Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Again, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Excuse me. Abstentions? Hearing none, the motion is moved. Okay, at this point, the Board of Aldermen is going to go into executive session, which means we have to, or is there any old business, new business?
Mr. President, just so you know, for order's sake, there was a motion